It's a funny old world, full of headaches in turn. So whenever you need space, I guess it's okay when you floated away to feel nothing at all. We could be astronauts if you want to. Get out of here.
All right, everybody. It's another episode of the Boyd Podcast. Tonight, well, thank you for joining. Tonight, we've got a real special guest here. We've got my neighbor, Tracy. So, Tracy, it's my neighbor right there. All right. Yes. And then we've got JP. You guys are familiar with him. TJ is back with us. And I've got Ian here for the first time. Got a new setup here, so we're working on trying to get all the bugs worked out as much as we can. So I appreciate it. That track that you heard playing, that's continuing to play right now, is One Eskimo. That's Astronauts by One Eskimo. And yeah, again, thanks for joining us. We're just going to be sitting here talking about stuff. I don't even know what we're talking about yet. So we've been messing around with audio stuff, which is the normal thing that we do around here. Hopefully it's sounding better. I don't know. I'm not you, so I can't tell. But you should send us a chat or get on our chat feed and let us know how things are going. If it sounds good, if it doesn't sound good, you know, give us some feedback so we can get this thing all taken care of. Sound man Ian over here wrecking shop on the switches. Whoops, I almost put my cell phone number in for the call in, but I don't want to do that. All right, so name of the game is we just sit here and chat, and you get involved in the conversation. Call us at 904-638-5119. That's 904-638-5119. It's on the chat stream, so if you are checking us out on Ustream, check out the chat feed. I just posted the number there so you can give us a holler. All right, fellas. Thanks for coming. I'm glad. We're always glad to have you guys come on this podcast. Is it weird to you that we're on a podcast?
Nah, not at all.
You're not here. You can if you want. Here, can you see your headphones? You're not missing those.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna turn this mic around since we're all facing this
All right,
way.
that's fine. Yeah. So, yeah. Anyways, I mean, so is it a little strange that you're on this podcast, this thing that could be like recorded and people gonna hear what you have to say and you're thinking about and whatever.
I think it's awesome. We have relics from ancient Rome and ancient China and stuff, and one day someone's gonna find this, figure out how to work all this shit, and they're gonna be like, "Oh man, this is exactly how these people were. We're gonna be a part of history one day." Man. People are gonna be saying ancient alien shit about us. That's how I feel.
Are you trying to say that?
To this podcast,
They're gonna look back to this podcast and be like,
say
They're gonna say that was a pinnacle of history.
Do you think they won't give us credit? Do you think that like for the shit that we got like LCD TVs and shit like an X-ray and nanobots and stuff, they'll be like that's
1,000 years.
or do you think it currently is alien technology and we just getting
Hey,
tricked by the
we were just
by the
talking-
government? You know, it's a conspiracy going on. Is that what? Come on in, man. Come on in.
We got Brandon coming in. What's going on, buddy?
Hey. All right. So joining the podcast is old Brando. He was here with us last time. Unfortunately, this might be the only time that he shows up in person because he's heading out to old Colorado to pursue his music career. I'm very proud about him. Yeah, man. We're just talking about whether or not, like this. Well, first we're talking about this podcast in general, and then what was it? Oh yeah, that someday that this will be seen as like
Historical document.
well, at the end of the day, what I'm wondering is, if someone 10,000 years from now finds this shit, are they going to give us credit, or are they going to say it's alien technology? That's my first question. My second question is it maybe alien technology?
Is it perhaps alien?
Right? I mean, if Bronus was here, he'd say what's up. I'm going to try to get him on the line
We
here.
need to get him over here. I want to
I'm
hear
gonna try
his
something real quick.
does it
elaborate explanations.
Does it ever feel weird that you look back on human history and you see that we've been pushing? I mean, go back 200 years ago, we had oxes and horses. Can anyone hear me?
Yeah, we can.
We didn't have shit. We didn't have shit over the last couple hundred years, and then in our lifetime, somehow we've had the internet, we've had technology. I don't even know what the hell. Why are we special? Why are we here during this time? Does it make anyone else feel weird being in this explosion of technology and just thinking the past of all our ancestors and how horrible and how shitty their lives must have been?
Not really. It's how it's supposed to be, you know.
Is it?
Yeah. We're all just kind of surviving
We're
progress.
just living, exactly.
I guess. I don't know. I find it weird. I find it weird that I have a phone that can tell me pretty much any question I ask it. That's fucking weird.
Well,
can talk
dude,
back to
yeah.
It's only
Two-
gonna progress.
Not even 10,000. I bet like two. I bet 30 years from now, it's gonna be weird that we had to tell our phones what to do.
The iPhone upgrades like
Like,
2 times a
dude,
year.
in 30
Like,
in 30
5
What can you
years.
do?
Dude, in 30 years, we'd be like, we would just automatically just have it in our brain. Like, you know what I mean? It'd just be part of you. Why wouldn't the technology morph into being part of
You
you?
guys ever seen the new Total Recall? With,
No, but I
Isn't that
heard it was
facility, like,
shit.
It was
or
shitty.
something?
It was shitty, but the technology that they had in that movie was awesome. Their cell phones are inserted into their hand,
Okay.
okay, and they talk like this.
So they're walking around like FBI agents all day
It
long.
gets better. It
Okay.
gets better. Any reflective surface that they put their hand on, it turns into an instant Skype session, bro.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's crazy.
That was a
Like
good movie.
Windows.
It was a trend-setting movie. The original
Yes.
is one of the ones that they're using now. If you look back at it, at the scene in the airport when Arnold was running through the airport, they did a X-ray of his body. And what are they using now? So a lot of times they say, life is really imitating art, or art is imitating life. So that was one of the things that we looked at 20 years ago in the original movie. And now what do they have in the airports? You walk through and they X-ray
Yeah,
the
in
whole
fact,
body.
it was
It's kinda scary.
X-raying a little
Yeah.
too well.
Exactly.
Right? They had to like block it out because those
Right.
TSA fools were like ogling that.
What else is interesting? You guys remember seeing the movie
Right.
The Cable Guy with Jim Carrey?
A long time ago.
Well,
Yeah.
there was one scene in that movie where he's talking to Matthew Broderick, and he's talking about how one day, it's the internet, the super highway of information. One day you'll be able to shop online, pay your bills online, and play video games online. This movie came out in 1994 when the internet was just, barely new in the civilian, household.
Yeah.
The only place that I could go on the internet when I was a kid was a library.
Yeah.
No one could afford a freaking big ass IBM computer.
Bro, when I was a kid, I remember having to take the we had this long ass phone line coming back from the back of the computer,
Yeah.
and I had to run it across the dining room to the phone jack. That was like the only fucking phone jack in the house. But it was like, yeah, internet. It hasn't been like in my aunt's house where I live.
It used to happen a lot in the barracks, though.
Do you think it's too loud to turn that AC on?
There's only one way to find out.
Find it.
There's only
you
one way to
pick it up.
find out.
There's many folk in here, it's gonna get a little bright.
This show brought to you by experimentation.
Dad, I'm like smoking cigarettes.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, that one jack thing is cool, but did anyone read the article about how plants won't grow in heavy Wi-Fi? Like they literally just like you seed a plant, you put it in heavy Wi-Fi. I didn't
How
read the
heavy
specifics.
though? Like what's heavy mean?
I don't know. The article.
Like I want
read
to know
just-
how that relates
Put
to my
that shit next to a
my
router.
wireless router. Like if that's really the case. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know.
That's amazing. What if we
I don't know,
find
that
out
kinda
it's
sucks.
carcinogenic in 2 years?
That would suck, man. A lot of
Maybe
stuff.
like gonna
down
start
from
having
cancer.
Wi-Fi clouds and
Yeah.
things that they send up in the air so they can spread out Wi-Fi everywhere.
That's what Google's trying to do. They're trying to put balloons
Spread
across
out
the nation.
Wi-Fi.
Oh,
It
shit.
brings up an interesting question. Like we're technology is always advancing every single day, and you brought up that plants won't grow around Wi-Fi.
Allegedly.
What if all our technological advances is like killing our planet faster than we expect?
Global warming, possibly, man. I don't know what to know.
Those plants plants, no humans.
Does it? I don't know. Does anyone know a lot about that stuff? I feel like I know enough to make me sound.
Does
like an
anybody
idiot.
know Al Gore's number?
Al Gore.
What is Al Gore's number? Man Bear Pig.
No. Okay, yeah.
I'm more of a fauna guy, not a flora guy.
Yeah.
I know more about the animals
Yeah.
than the plants.
The United Nations declares internet access a human right.
Wow, you could do that?
Really?
Yep.
Tell that to
What does that mean?
North
Wait, hold on. What does
Free
that
government
mean?
internet
This is
now?
off of Wired.
But
and
what
it's
does that mean though? What does human right mean?
I don't know.
Like it's something that is
You're
that
right
any
as a
human,
being.
yeah, one basic thing that you need, or I mean that you are allowed to have should you desire to work for it.
Wait, hold on.
That's the key thing.
Should you desire to work for
Should
it?
you desire to work for it? Because
Basic. Well, so
If
is it a
it-
basic human? Like, what does that mean? Is it like everyone should have the right to access the internet?
yes. Now think of it this way: everybody has. There are like I don't know what the hell am I trying to say?
When you say everyone, is it?
Like, what if I can't afford to get the internet? Does it have to be supplied to me by the government? Like, that's my
That's what
right.
it sounded like to me.
And if I'm not, if I'm going along with the UN, if I'm a country, do I have to offer Wi-Fi to my citizens?
What does the UN even fucking? I don't.
Yeah,
know.
I don't even know. Yeah, right. I need to make up
It was
rules and
supposed
shit.
to end wars after the First World War, but it didn't.
Yeah.
You know how many conflicts and world wars we've had, since 1912? Sorry, I know the number, but it escapes me. Okay, I lied. I
How
don't.
many conflicts we've had since 1912? I mean, we also live in the most peaceful time in history. Like, if you think about it. Like, yeah, like in different
Yeah.
pockets of this world, yeah, there's shit's going down. But do I have to worry about some dude raping and pillaging my fucking neighborhood now? No. I mean, I live in America. I mean, yeah. I'm just saying. I think overall, I think for percentage-wise, you being human on this planet, I think it's the safest time for you to be a human right now, just with technology and all that shit. I wouldn't want to go back 500 years. Fuck that, dude. Fuck that shit.
Fucking walking everywhere.
Genghis Khan everywhere, dude. Worry
No
about your
baby
fucking head and
Let me get the
torture.
X-ray.
Fuck that.
Going to the bathroom and hate. I'm sorry. There's a lot of
Hey,
things.
Brando, people want to
Yeah, like,
see
hold
you,
it right
man.
up
Is
to
there
your
a
mouth
place
for you.
we can put you where we can see you?
You might just have to make eye contact.
Here,
I don't
can you
know.
move the camera over a little bit? Just a little bit. I mean, I just want to get everyone in, because this is mainly an audio show, but, I mean, Brandon is pretty fine.
Is that good?
You know what I'm saying? That's good
Yes, you
enough
are,
right there.
Brandon. You are a fine specimen
Perfecto.
of man.
Remember, people,
Thank you. That was awesome.
audio without video is radio, and video without audio is technical difficulties. So tell us about it.
That's true. That is true.
I can't hear your shit.
Let's
Tell
try.
us
I
about
want to see what's going to happen if someone tries to call us up. It should work this time. Every single time. It never works. But it should work this time. The only thing I'm afraid of is that shit getting fucking loud as shit.
Is that someone calling?
No, that's someone telling me something.
You should run the output of the computer into a channel on the board,
It is. It's on the USB.
or like a controllable channel.
It's on. Oh yeah, it's just coming in. It.
Hey, Ian.
I won't even begin to describe the problems that it. You would think it would be much simpler to do a podcast, but it's like I'm getting technologically challenged here. You know what I'm saying?
It's tough, man. It's not easy putting all this shit together.
Yeah. And it's not even. Dude, iCarly has a better show than I.
It's not
I
very
think I mentioned that before last time. Like, I'm just saying. I was just thinking about it.
I like everything, man. I think music is just. I think music is just. If music is good, then it's good. I like old shit. I like new shit. I like shit from. I don't know, shit from different genres. I like country. I like hip hop. It's just. I think music is music, man. You can find good music in any genre from any time period. You just have to do a little bit of work. That's just me, man. I don't have a set genre I listen to. I get bored. If I just sit around and listen to electronic music all day long and that's it, dude, I get bored.
Yeah, I listen to anything.
Yeah,
So
man.
you
Except,
think
like,
music
Screamo.
transcends all cultures, all races,
Yeah.
all creeds?
To a certain degree, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
To a certain degree, because like music is a language that doesn't have words.
Yeah.
Like, you feel it. you know. But like depending on
Well
where you,
spoken, well spoken.
depending on where you've been raised at is, I guess somehow affects your preference of music. You grew up listening to this music, you like this music. It might have been the only music around you per se, so that could say why you like this certain type of music over another. And just people's personal preferences. Like I detest screamo. I don't understand that. Dude, I listen to that shit. I'm like, what? Your throat, man. You gotta talk for a couple years, man. You know?
And living for the moment, though. They're living for that moment.
J-Bone, what do you think?
Yeah, I think, music's in the ear of the beholder, really. What I consider music doesn't necessarily jive with what other people consider music. So it's just like, you can liken it to language. It's just like other forms of human expression, right? Painting and stuff. Like, do you like all paintings? There's genres of it that compel you
For
to
the
think
most part, it's
and
anything.
speak to you, and there's genres that don't. It's like the same for me. Like, I'm not gonna dig polka, and I hate mariachi music. Man. I can't stand it, and I don't care how many people try to tell me how cultural it is. Oh yeah, watch out. Those are slowly finding their way back to earth. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. Like, oh yeah, I was just saying it doesn't matter how many people try to tell me mariachi music is good. It's not in my mind.
I think there's a good mariachi song out there.
There's probably one. If it's slow,
Somewhere out there is
slow
good.
one, but all that.
Somewhere out there is
There's
one
just
that
too
you're
much
gonna listen
shit
to.
going
You're
on.
gonna be like, that's the one.
Yeah, I don't think. No. Movies. I don't have favorite songs. I don't have favorite albums. I don't have favorite because it's like dependent on what's going on.
You don't have a favorite song? Or
No, not necessarily.
Maybe back in the day.
Like I would have to have like favorite genre or something, or like no,
Like a favorite, or
song
like a favorite
within
artist?
the genre or something like that. Even favorite artists. I don't know.
A favorite artist per
'Cause
genre?
sometimes it's like it's whoever's speaking to me at that time. Because sometimes like I want to listen to Mos Def, but sometimes I want to listen to 2 Chainz. You know what I'm saying?
You see that shit that Mos Def did the other day? Really interesting. Did you see that video he put out?
No, I didn't.
Put a video out of him. He was doing the textbook. In Guantanamo Bay when they don't eat.
Oh yeah.
He did the textbook force feed thing that they did all by their manuscript. And, damn, man, when people don't eat, we force them. We put scraps on a fucking chair. I don't know. Side tangent for most death. I think whatever the fuck his real name is. I don't even know what he renamed himself.
Oh yeah, I don't know what it is.
Nasquali or something. Some close to. I don't know.
I don't know.
He's Muslim, so he probably chose a different.
It contains syllable arrangements. I'm not like aware of.
I don't know.
What you think about music, man? What's your take?
Yeah, you started.
I think more or less I deal with it as far as I guess the time frame because by me being the senior spokesman here that I've seen different eras of music and
Wait, yeah, I don't know. How do you think it's hard to guess.
Hey, JP, talking to that mic real quick. Keep going.
But I don't know.
So I
How
think
old do
it
you think he is, Brandon?
we're not gonna disclose that.
Oh, come on, man. I thought that was just for chicks.
Yeah, man, there might be some looking that might want to
Oh,
get with
true.
it.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay. Touche.
Okay, senior spokesman.
Yeah, so tell us what's going on. Are you doing
Well, like I
on the
said,
BBs or something?
Hello.
Yeah, I did.
good.
Matter of fact,
Yeah?
you talk about favorite songs, Bee Gees do have one of my favorite songs.
Mm. Which one?
Actually, Andy Gibb. It fleets me at the moment, but I'll
right.
recall and I'll remember.
I'm trying to think. I can't remember. I'm sure I heard it before.
I'm sure you have.
Yeah,
It
it's probably
received a
a
lot of
good song.
airplay.
All right.
Received a lot of airplay.
Was it the Beach Boys or the Bee Gees that did the collaboration?
That's
Beach Boys.
Beach Boys. All right, we got someone calling. Let's see what's going on with this. What's going on? Rudely, what's happening, man?
Is that Rudely?
Rudely.
Hey, Brandon, man, what's going on, dog?
Nothing going on, man. So what's on your mind? We're talking about this music. You want to get in on this conversation?
Nah,
You gotta turn your set down, man. All right. So well, you said you don't, dude. The Prophet, man. You're a man of the music. Why don't you give us a little
I
breakdown?
said old school R&B.
Oh, old school R&B. Sorry, I missed that. Okay, like what? Give me an example.
That's not old school.
Oh, not the Tracy.
Like some the Whisper, rock steady.
He said rock steady from the Whisper.
What?
That's not a bad one.
Brown Green.
Oh, Prophet's trying to dig in the crates now. Okay. Nice. What are you up to now?
Hey, that's the kind of fella I am, man.
Right, yeah, because then you can play it for the ladies. Right? Perhaps?
Hey, but this phone is kind of delayed, man. I'm gonna try calling back on a better line, cause it's.
All right. All right, man. Thanks for giving us a holler. And thank you all for listening. Give us a call, 904-638-5119. We're talking about music right now. Yeah, unfortunately, only the people with headphones can hear. That's why I was hoping people would bring headphones. And so if you have headphones, I can plug them in so you can hear what's happening. I might have some headphones elsewhere. What? Is it not going to reach? There's a splitter right here. Oh God. Crazy things are happening.
That was me, I knew it was. It's not supposed to me.
I think we're gonna get a woman's perspective on what kind of music she likes.
Yeah.
I'll tell you about it.
Oh, something's clicking.
That's me, you should be able to hear.
Yeah. I'm just gonna assume I can.
What's going on? Why is the volume up so loud right now?
A little bit.
Yeah, it's clipping out. It's like Mac.
Hey people.
Yeah, hopefully it's not going to be... Hey, people out there, if you are hearing this, please let me know how it's going on the chat screen. That'd be sweet, because just want to make sure I'm not blasting all your speakers is all. Cool. Oh, watch out on the table. Got the microphone right here.
Sorry about that. Sorry. All right.
Man, so what brought that up anyway? Why is that on your mind, Tracy, about the music?
About the music, I don't know. Brandon came in and it kind of gave me an insight to something that we were talking about since we kind of just, I guess, nosing along. Any more interesting topics that we're going to cover tonight?
No. So in other words, whatever we were talking about was getting boring. But that was very long.
I was on the alien.
What's on? Well, you tell me what are you thinking about, man?
What was the phone number to call?
I don't know if this topic would be appropriate since we're having the sausage fest.
Well, now women are allowed to call us up. In fact, they are encouraged to.
Yeah.
So please do. Hopefully you guys were able to hear Rudely when he called, but.
Let's deal in the realm of love. Let's talk about it.
Okay, what about it, man?
Let's go off with the one thing, love lost. I'm quite sure everybody has experienced that.
Yeah.
What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me.
Well, I mean, that's something
my last name, but that works too.
That's transcended time and everything, the culture, right? I mean, that's.
What about love lost? Do you ever think that it can be returned, regained, re-experienced?
It all depends on how you left the relationship. If you left on good terms with the possibility of reuniting again, maybe. But if you left off and you're both at each other's throats, that's the last impression that you have of the other person. So when you see that other person again, you're going to see the same person that you saw 2 or 3 years ago, and neither one know who that person is now.
Yeah.
You know, like let's take me and my ex-girlfriend. Hopefully she's not watching this. If I were to meet my ex-girlfriend, I mean, yes, we still keep in contact and we're still friends, but I'm not experiencing her every day. I don't know her everyday antics. I don't know what she's thinking all the time. You know, I only know what she posts on her Facebook. You know, I just get highlights of her life. But if I were to see her again, I would still see the same person I saw 5 years ago. She'd still see the same person 5 years ago. It's like we just know each other from the past, but we don't know each other now. So it's hard to say whether or not that could spark something up again, unless you're both in agreement. That's just
What if the sex was intense? Do you think that do you think that would be do you think that would be an avenue that you might want to a street you might want to walk down again if if the opportunity presented itself? Or does that go out with the you think about the bad experiences and the good sex, or you think about the good experiences and the bad sex? Which one is?
I don't know. In the words of the almighty Dave Chappelle, I plead the fifth. Nah, just playing. I don't know. Hypothetically speaking, if I were single, I probably would. Just cause, just for the hell of it, one more for the road.
Hey, girlfriend.
So what you're saying is that the love can be lost, but if the sex is good, it will never be lost.
So you're gonna tell me that if you had the best sex with one person, and you were given another chance to, you were allowed. My mic just went out.
Yeah.
Everything just went out. I just lost my train of thought. I mean, but long story short, you turn that shit down. If it was like that good and you had that chance.
Oh no, I'm not scrutinizing you for saying you would, not by any means. I was just trying to understand your perspective on the whole love aspect of it, because, I mean, really, I think it just depends on the situation just the situation, It's between you and that person. It depends on the kind of love you have for that person as well. If that love was based around intense sex, then, well, that's a strange part to come back on.
Well, I don't know.
But you know what I'm saying?
JB?
Oh, I'm sorry, I was messing with this thing. It sounds like
You gotta multitask, man. You gotta be.
Yeah, our
reversal.
audio levels are like way high. Crazy. Something's going on there. Yeah. So wait, you were talking about love, something about crazy sex or something? That's what I heard before.
That's how he sums it up.
Yeah, crazy sex.
Yeah.
No, man. We were talking about.
Sexy time.
Would you wanna indulge again if you had the chance?
In a previous.
Yeah.
Like a relationship kind of thing?
Yeah.
Choose your words wisely.
My girlfriend's watching this. I don't know why you're trying to make me get trouble. That's not very.
You gotta know how to step around these questions, man.
Oh well, I guess so. Yeah, here's my thing with it. If whatever it was that created the flame in the first place lights up, then it's going to. Why wouldn't it happen?
Yeah.
It's almost like self-fulfilling, right?
Maybe. I've had some good sex with some crazy bras. I don't think I would want to revisit the sex again.
Yeah.
I really don't. I think I would be able to separate the two, man. The craziness and the love aspect of it, I wouldn't want to indulge in that again.
And well, it depends on how crazy you're talking about, like knife wielding crazy. Because if that's the case, then no, I'm not gonna. No, I don't want to indulge.
Break your windows out type crazy.
Oh
Yeah,
shit!
yeah, I wouldn't want
There's
to
such
do
a
that.
thing. I don't know.
I mean,
no, I don't want to do
mean,
that.
even if
Sure.
the sex was good and she was crazy, no, it wouldn't happen.
You have to turn the volume down in order to see. As you turn it down, it gets less and less.
Once again, I ask for the woman's perspective, and you don't get
I'll
it.
give it to you, yeah.
We're listening.
Alright, love lost or crazy sex? What are we talking about?
Both. You gotta intertwine them together.
I mean, I feel like if it's there, it's there. Like it's always going to repeat itself. That's just what history does. if it's good, it's just always gonna be good, I think, and you've got to dictate whether you want to get back into the crazy or if it wasn't that crazy or not, you know.
Well, I can be a little bit more forthcoming. That we are a testament to the love lost. This thing between us has been on and off for 2 to 3 years now.
Yeah.
For sure.
We've gone months without seeing each other. We've gone from fuck you, don't ever want to talk to you again, to
This
just
is it.
to meeting
Goodbye.
up and just right away wanting to fuck. You know, we've been there, man, and it depends. I've never had anything like that with anyone else where. You know, on the last time we seriously left, the last words I remember just saying was just like, just fuck you, I don't want to talk to you, fuck you. I remember those last words, and then going a couple months without seeing her, and then seeing her again, and then it was just like a wall of just of emotion and feelings and love just all hit me at once. Like, god damn, why did I leave? God damn.
So
And
let
now
me
it's
ask you
really,
this.
it's really good right now.
Does that old adage play a role in this, that the absence makes the heart grow fond?
I think it does, man. I think it does.
Definitely. Like
'Cause-
during the time, you know what you're losing, like you know what you don't have
Yeah.
when you're apart from that person.
Yeah, I mean, when you have it all the time, you just get used to it. I mean, that's human nature. It's
Yeah.
like, that's what creates that bratty culture that I feel a lot of Americans have, man. It's just they're so used to having everything, they don't know what it's like to not have that shit. Or they don't have the perspective to understand that, hey, this shit's not going to be here forever. So, yeah, man. Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Let me throw this one out. This is something that I'm experiencing personally. Do you feel like there's a constant soulmate for you out there that no matter what you do, that there's nobody else that's ever going to compare? There's someone out there that feels you, that knows you and your soul, and kind of anticipate what you think and can finish your sentences. Have you ever experienced that in life with someone?
So are you asking, like, is there only one kind of person like that?
No.
Like for you?
Yes,
A soulmate?
for each individual, is there a person out there that just...
So is there such thing as a soulmate?
Yeah.
Yeah, is there such thing as a soulmate? Or is that just a fictional, like a Bigfoot?
Well, I mean, it's like, you can't, it is impossible, I mean, it would be very improbable to meet all 7 billion people in the world. So it's like, this is my soulmate that I've met, that I know about, and that I'm not willing to lose in order to see if my soulmate is out there. You know what I'm saying? It depends if people are happy and content with where they are, and if they should choose to. I mean, I don't know if any people who think of like they need to find their soulmate, so they find like
Wait, what creates a soulmate then, though? So because like it's soulmate, so then it becomes, choice versus fate.
I think it's a combination of all things. I think it's compatibility. I think that first
is
of all,
your soulmate preordained though?
That's a good question. That's a good question. That's the thing that I'm experiencing now. I'm gonna give you a scenario. I dated this young lady I met when I was a sophomore in college. We both attended different schools. She elected to go like a military route, so she would catch military hops to my school, which was in Ohio, and she was in D.C. So I would like see her every weekend, every other weekend. She would come to see me. We dated from '86 to '99. We separated. I even went on to get married. What a mistake that was. But anyway, just recently, within the last week, I found her via Facebook. We've been communicating.
Oh.
And it's like, man, for as her, it looks like the time has stopped. She is gorgeous. She hasn't lost anything. And I'm just thinking, I never really gave anyone else a real chance because I didn't have, I wanted like closure with her. And now I feel like if I get closure, I might be able to go on if it doesn't work. But it seems like, right now, I'm willing to do anything to have her back in my life again.
Huh.
Wow.
What's her situation? You mind?
Single.
All right.
Oh.
That's why I'm saying when you talk about fate, and I'm just saying, is that really what's in store for me? Is that my destiny?
Well,
After all these years, we're talking about 27 years that we've been involved, knowing each other, and now we're just now getting together.
well, yeah. I mean, that could definitely be something. So here's a couple things. I don't know. There's too many big questions before I could answer that one. So for instance, Stacy, Stacy Ditmar Griniker agrees with Green Pants over here. How are you going to
Green
meet
Pants.
every single person on the world?
Yeah.
Right. So that brings me to my
There's
original
one other
question:
person.
is it fate? Because if it's fate, then it doesn't matter how many people are on the world, because that person will be in your proximity during your life. You know what I mean? But if it's not, if it's just like the soul cloud dumps souls out, and yours happens to be in the U.S. and your soul mate happens to be in India, then you're sort of SOL, right? So, I mean, I don't know. You have to define what is, soul mate, or I guess you have to almost back up and say what's soul. What is a soul? Are we talking about a literal soul, or like at what level? Is this? I mean, I think there's levels of compatibility. You see what I'm saying? So what maybe we define as soulmate is extreme compatibility, right? And so, yeah, you can't meet every single person in the world, or maybe, I don't know, unless your soulmate's preordained. But then is that your job to recognize it?
Yes, but let me interject something. What he was saying about not meeting everyone, a lot of people do what? They settle with the first thing that comes along.
Right.
And so they don't get a chance to meet their soulmate, even if it was required for you just to go to Colorado or go to New York.
True.
Or move to Miami. You don't get a chance to experience that because you settled for the first thing that comes along.
But I'll tell you this, though. I mean, so that's what, it's oddly enough, you have the same problem investing. Right? Like, when do you get in? When do you jump into the stock market? Right? Oh, dang, if the stock market's down, I'm going to jump in, and then it keeps going down. Right? And you're like, oh, man, I just lost a bunch of money. Right? So, like, it's like, when do you pull the trigger? How do you know? Right? How do you know that, like, 20 years later, that this other person with even more compatibility comes along?
Hey, I got a response. Victoria Lynch says, if there's such a thing as a soulmate, they wouldn't be preordained because you are continuously changing.
Oh, well, how about that? So, I mean, is your soulmate the same when you're, 15 as the soulmate of 45?
But see, that's the thing. And
or are you only soulmates for a time?
That's a good question. That's the thing that I'm going through now. Where's our compatibility? But speaking with her in the short time that I did, it seems like everything is status quo. It seems good.
Mm-hmm. So what are you going to do about that?
I don't know.
Still figuring
Right now, I have a lot of trepidation about falling in love again. That's one thing, but I think that I have to see this through. I really do. I want to see this through. I want closure on this.
And what's the worst that's going to happen if you don't? I mean, if you do this, what's the worst that's going to happen?
Rejection.
Is what's worse, rejection or regret? Right, because when you regret not trying.
I'd rather take
Regret. Did you live with that what if?
I don't know. That's a good question.
At least if you got rejected, that's feedback, man. Just say why.
At least
Why?
you get what you
I've dealt with enough
Can you
personal
tell me,
loss. I've dealt with enough personal loss in my life, so I don't want to go down that street again. No more personal loss. So I would try to avoid that at all costs. And so that's where my trepidation.
About getting rejected.
No, not about just personal loss. Things
Like, what do you mean?
like family members, personal things that you may have acquired over time. Just loss, personal loss. You lose things.
Wait, so what's going to happen if you get together? Will there be a personal loss?
No, I'm saying if I was to maybe try and move forward and she's not as receptive. I mean, right now the biggest thing would be distance because she doesn't live here. She lives in a different
Well,
state.
take it slow, man. Take it slow. Let her give you some signs, man.
kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier, like the person you know 13 years ago, is not the same person that's talking to you now, So, like, just because you had a good lasting thing for 13 years doesn't mean it's, you guys are the same, because you guys, both of you, obviously changed over the last few years,
Exactly.
since you guys last saw each other, so James was right, it's just something that needs to be eased into, test the water before you jump in.
See where her mind is at. Let her see where yours is.
I like this input.
All right, we got some people telling us some stuff. All right, so
But one thing, unfortunate, time is not on my side.
Why is that? She
Man,
leaving
time
on
is
an
all you
airplane or
got.
something?
Life is the longest thing
Oh,
you'll
you're
ever do.
What's like ultimate time?
Yeah,
Oh, I
ultimate
thought you
time.
meant like she's gonna be leaving the country in a week.
No, she just got back from
Okay.
Afghanistan.
All right, so Stacy says regrets are much worse than loss. All right. Grendel Pith over here says you have a soulmate when you choose to have one. So gotta catch it. Right?
I don't think so. I don't agree with that one.
I don't know. I don't know if I even believe in a soulmate. And I think it's human made up shit. To tell you the
Right.
truth.
Yeah. I think people have the tendency to like want to see their destiny in someone else, you know, like see their destiny in like the person that they marry or like their children,
Yeah.
kind of not see something for their own life.
People also want to mystify also everything human and make it like something supernatural.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing with, I mean, sorry if everyone I'm gonna offend, but the whole thing with religion and just, that's all of us trying to explain why we're here, what our purpose is. We're always trying
Explaining
to...
things we can't explain ourselves.
Exactly, and the answer is probably just some mundane answer. You know, okay, there's two people grew up in a similar geographic region. They like the same things. They're compatible. They're both easygoing. Whatever. I think there's probably 200 people in this earth
Similar
that
life
you can get along with. Yeah,
Well, the
man.
numbers say there are more, but let's go into the supernatural thing. So you don't
Alright.
think that there is something that some divine ultimate being that has control of our destiny that determines what happens to us, or I mean, we all the religious beliefs teach us that as humans we have free will,
Yeah.
and that's somewhat what gets us in trouble. You know, that's why
Yeah.
Eve ate the apple, and now we're damned. But I think that there is a superior being that controls our destiny. I mean, whatever you want to label him as, that may work for you, but to me it's God, and I think that he does work in our lives. I've seen him move in my life, so we're not going to get religious on this, but we're just going to touch on that right quick.
I agree. I mean, I don't know, man. I think anything's possible. That's my thing. Is that anything literally is possible. I mean, there could be a God, there could be an ultimate being, but I also think that we could have just been algae on a fucking rock that hit another rock that over the course of a million years evolved, and then somehow we're fucking here. I don't know. I think anything's possible. But go ahead, man.
If anything, like, God, I hate to be this cliche, but I will anyway. Like, if there's one thing we're sure about, it's that we're living now, and that we have been living. We don't know if there is anything after us. Nobody has ever died and came back and told us. And I'm
That's
not
not
talking.
true.
Well, there's like things.
Well,
like
that depends on your
like-
religious perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe what they thought, but the thing is, because it's coming out of somebody's mind, like, Jesus,
Humans are full of shit. Humans,
Yeah, like how am I supposed to prove to somebody else the experience I had whilst I was dead for like a couple minutes?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can say it, and to me it happened, but like somebody else, they're just going on my word, So that's the question. Cigarette.
Like if you take the mysticism out of every single religion, there was no God, no Jesus, no Muhammad, no Buddha, no Lord Vishnu, none of them. And what you have is basic guidelines on how to live your life.
morality, yeah, man.
And when I hear people bash religion, it's kind of disheartening because a lot of the times we tend to overanalyze these experiences because of what a lot of fanatics go off of. Like, oh, Jesus walked in the water, turned water into wine, but it's when we put too much emphasis on the miracles that have happened in these religions, but we don't put enough emphasis on the value of just the teaching of loving each other, doing what's right for other people, how to live a clean life and how to bring together communities.
Yeah, like you're saying, don't be so bent on.
Yeah.
Don't be so bent on trying to figure out if it happened. Just read it and see what the moral of the story is.
And when it comes to like Christianity, and people tend to overlook the fact that Christianity came from Judaism, and a lot of people out there will refute that, I know I've had tiffs with a whole lot of people about this subject. You know, yeah, my mom. You know, she's super religious. You know, I love her. You know, her faith has kept our family together.
You're still going to hell though.
I know.
You know, I had a probably one of the best classes I've taken ever. It was actually in Weber State University in Ogden, Utah, of all places. And it was called Contemporary Moral Issues. First thing we had to talk about was whether or not it was morally okay to eat meat, right? And everyone's like, oh, well, duh, of course it is. I'm like, well, what if you don't have to? What if you can get everything you need from plant sustenance, right? And you can find a way. Is it still morally okay to cause harm and kill an animal simply because you like its taste more than something else, right? So I don't want to talk about that now, but we had a debate about that, and of course it got into religion, right? Because over there, it's pretty religious. In Ogden, Utah, the Mormon religion is very prominent, and they would, it would always meander into the religious thing, like God put animals and da da da, right? So then it ended up being, in a way, right, an argument about whether or not there was a God, and can we create general, our moral order based on that premise. But then that was just the meat debate. Then we had to actually debate, is there a God? And that's when things got heated. I remember people that it was right before the deadline to cut off for the semester, which was good because we lost about a quarter of our class. Yeah. Because after that discussion, people were getting up crying and stuff. And there's a couple ways to think about it to me, because you had to use philosophical argument, right? You had to have a premise, right? And then you had to have an argument against the other person's premise. And there's two things I was thinking. One was, is this fair to be philosophically arguing a religion? But then on the other hand, I'm thinking this is a test of faith for them. They're gonna have to defend the position, or they're gonna have to find a way to make this work, right? And that's where their faith has to be, has to keep them afloat. But anyway, long story long, not only just to get you the story, but also to say I don't necessarily want anybody getting up out of the room, storming off, and dropping for the semester. So we talk about. I'm cool talking about whatever. Just want to make sure nobody
general
starts
day-to-day conversation. There are three things you cannot talk about: politics, religion.
Yeah, but that's what makes the best
Fight
shows.
Club. You don't talk about Fight Club.
And we don't. Oh, you spoke about Fight Club.
Oh shit!
Shit! I did too. I'm
Damn
out.
it! We lost the game.
Well, I remember we were talking about. I guess when was that? Was it yesterday? When did you come over? Was it yesterday? Tuesday. Right, when we were talking about the Trayvon Martin thing and stuff. You remember you brought that up, man. Was that what you were thinking about that? What were you thinking about that on Tuesday?
What's that?
On the whole Trayvon Martin case.
I just think that a lot of different facets of people are using it to their advantage as well as to their disadvantage. I think that from my perspective, I grew up here in Jacksonville, born and raised, and when I was growing up, I guess integration had just started. My older brothers was one of the first classes to go to a predominantly white high school, and close to 10 years later, I matriculated through the same high school. My first experience with dealing with a person of another race was a guy I played football with. We were real close. I spent the night at his house. He would spend the night at my house, and we didn't see color like that. And after that, of course, I was a school teacher here in Duval County for about 20 years, so I never had my classroom where, no one could talk to me on race, creed, color, or religious belief. I always had to be objective and treat everybody the same. So I guess I have a little bit of different perspective of looking at things. So, I went to a predominantly white high school, and when I graduated, I went to a predominantly white college. So, I kind of shifted. So I've got to see a lot of things on different avenues, because, I consider you a friend just like I would consider anybody else a friend, because you you treat people on how they treat you, like we were talking about the golden rule. So you've got black people that treat you bad, just as opposed to you might have Asians or whites or in other, I guess, ethnic groups that will treat you good. So you don't have to base things just on color. I think that as far as Trayvon was concerned, I think that Zimmerman was wrong in the fact that, like most people said, when they told him not to pursue, he pursued.
Right.
And I think that summarizes it for me. And I think as being a black man here in America, I've seen a lot of things, but I can't say that being black has, stopped me from achieving anything, because I've had a good life. Like I said, I'm matriculated through college. I've had a career, and I don't think that, and I've had white people open doors for me just as much as I have black people, So you can't just try and put everybody into, I guess, one category and say
right.
that, all white people are bad and all black people are good. It doesn't work that way. I think that what we have to understand that individuals are individuals, but as being a black person, I know that if we were to do a hierarchy here in America, you would start off with white men, white women, black women, and then black men. So
hierarchy of what?
I guess
Like what do you mean?
social economical wealth.
Okay.
Right now, employment. And I think that the system has been created to destroy the black family. Why? I don't know. You have to read John Lynch's book, Willie Lynch's book about, he talked about, if we do these things properly, they'll have separation 300 years from now. And I think that it's destroyed a lot of perspectives. I was reading this book and watching this video called Hidden Colors, and it talked about one of the things that it got into was how does every other religion have a God that looks like their people except for black people. And that made me stop and ponder that. Everybody knows how we got the white Jesus. Everybody knows that Michelangelo was, authorized to make a painting. He got 12 prisoners along with his drunk uncle. Those were the people that posed for the Last Supper. Did everybody know that?
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just amazing. It's something to think about.
Well, I want to touch upon. I just want to touch on that part, but yeah, it is true that here in the United States, we always see this image of Jesus being white, blue-eyed, or blonde hair, brown hair, but
Sexy Jesus.
sexy Jesus,
Good-looking
raggedy-looking Jesus. But in the Catholic Ethiopian churches, they have murals of a black Jesus, and actually even in the Vatican, they actually have
Right.
a wall in, I forget where, I know it's in St. Peter's Basilica.
Cleo, hold it up to your mouth.
It's in St. Peter's Basilica,
There
but
you
it has a painting, a rendering of black Jesus and the black apostles, so,
Right.
and every other culture too. If you were to go to a Catholic church or a Baptist church or a Pentecostal or a Protestant church in, let's say, South Korea, you'd find pictures of an Asian-looking Jesus. The same thing if you were to go to Japan, or if you were to go to Spain, you'd have a Spanish-looking Jesus. And I'm very visual with my hands. It makes a lasting impression. Right, you may go, sir.
Thank you. That's a child moment right there. But when you have a figure like in religion that you look up to, it's got to be something you can relate to.
Exactly.
Why would you look up to something that isn't somewhat like you? Because generally speaking, we like people like ourselves. So, I mean, maybe white Jesus, Caucasian-looking Jesus exists in America. There's a black-looking Jesus in, I guess, I don't know, wherever they would be. Because I've only seen like white Jesus.
A lot of the Coptic.
I grew up in a Southern Baptist church.
Looking Jesuses.
White Jesus.
What did Jesus look like?
No one really knows.
There's like a History Channel thing on that.
See, no one really knows. There's never a clear description.
Hey, well, you say in an exciting fashion.
There's
Hold on. Say, according to ancient alien theorists.
according to ancient alien
No,
theorists.
you don't even have to change anything. I've already sound like them already.
According to ancient alien theorists,
What?
Jesus was actually Caucasian. If you look at the Shroud of Turin, the ocular sockets where the eyes should be.
You already sound like him. You don't even have to try.
Yeah.
So I don't know what color Jesus was, but I will tell you that in relation to color, I just read an article today from, what was it, and who did this? It was the Wall Street Journal, like ABC. Was it ABC or NBC? One of these networks stations. Either ABC or NBC, and they were saying race relations are at the lowest since prior to Obama getting elected. Like they were back to like 1990 something levels of race relations. Like what's going on? We actually had sort of like this really peak racial.
Yes.
According to the article, I don't know anything other than what the article said, but they were saying that it's actually degraded since Barack Obama became president. Like what I thought, like apparently things were enough to where white people joined in, everybody joined in, and he's elected president, and you would think that like, all right, cool. Because it took a lot of white people to get to have them elected, so that must mean things are moving along. But then what would cause a retraction backwards?
It all depends.
You see what I'm saying? If it's enough to get a black man elected, then that must have been pretty strong.
Yeah.
So what was it that made those people, those voters even, step backwards?
Well, it's all about how important race is to you. Like, to me, race isn't important because race is a pigment. I mean, like, color and seeing people for the first time, it's a pigment of the skin. It's the way you look. It's not your mind. It's not all the things that make you a human and make me communicate you in a different way that I would communicate with a dog. I don't communicate with a dog like I communicate with a human. I don't have an intellectual conversation with my dog at home. I look her in her face and I'm like, what the hell are you thinking? But like,
Yeah.
I mean, it all depends on how important you think it is to you.
Yeah. I think what you said, what you were just saying there brings up a great question, which for me, have race relations, has us having a black president made it worse or better for race relations? I think I can make an argument that it's made it worse, because it's galvanized. Yeah, there was a huge chunk of white people that needed to vote for Obama to get him in office and to get him back in office for a second term. But also, that's also galvanizing. And this is something that you were talking about the other day. To sit here and act like there's not racism in America is keeping your fucking eyes closed, man. It's here.
exists.
It exists. I think most of us, the silent majority, aren't racist. I want to live life, want to have relationship with people regardless of color, creed, whatever. But there's still that subset of the population that has that racist Southern boy bullshit. And I think by us having a black president, and then also us having a black president who has struggled over the last 6+ years, and who's gotten us to a point where he's basically pissing everyone off. I mean, I guess you can still be an Obama supporter, but through the fucking, you got the drones, you got finance just going crazy, all the shit that's going wrong. It's galvanized that subset of America that just fucking that fucking hates him and is racist and has brought people together again. I think the racist part of America.
I mean, we're having to see, in order for it to drop. I mean, it's dropping from then.
Yeah.
It was at some level. I can't remember the numbers. Sorry, I don't have a good memory. But the numbers dropped from where it was when he was elected initially to now, which was actually. Right now, not even necessarily the second time elected, but right now, it's the lowest as far as people thinking of it negatively, and the lowest of it people thinking positively about it. Not the lowest ever, obviously, but it's a low point. And it's low, and it's low and it's gone down from the election. So, what do you think? What do you think that is that's doing that?
Like I said, I think it's a lot to do with the propaganda, with the different news media outlets that push stuff out there, like O'Reilly, because he's extreme one way, and then you even have some people like I said, like Jesse Jackson. I don't think that he should be a spokesman for the black race, because I think that I don't think that he has a correct perspective to speak on things. And I think that as Americans, most people, they're not knowledgeable about a lot of things, and they need someone to inform them, someone to believe in. You know, they need that human aspect of it, someone to follow. And I think that as far as black race is concerned, we really don't have leadership. Even though Obama is president, I don't think that a lot of people feel like he speaks for all black people. And I don't think that, you know, at this present time you ever get someone that speaks for all of any one race.
What would they say?
I would say the extremists would say that, you know, he's kowtow. He's not doing what he should do for the black.
What would the black leaders?
That's what I'm saying.
Getting it. Okay, sorry.
I'm getting to it.
Sorry.
They feel like maybe Obama has not fulfilled a lot of promises, but if you understand the hierarchy and how the government works, that, you know, if he doesn't have majority Democrat, you know, he's not going to be able to do too much anyway. He's going to be able, you know, to not do too much. So I think that a lot of extremists would say, well, you know, he made promises to the black people, and, you know, and unemployment is the highest now. So I think that a lot of people, you know, have given up on his new dream and, you know, change and everything. So I don't know what you say. What would the black person say? I don't know. I don't think that now it requires extremists like Malcolm X, but I think it would be a person more like Martin Luther King that galvanizes not just one race but all races.
Yeah.
I think that you need someone that understands both sides of it, because you're not going to get the opposition to listen if you're overbearing. And I think that how can you have conversation if you're only talking and nobody's listening? So he would have to be a person that's able to convey his thoughts and his ideas to both sides to get people to understand.
Speaking of like Jesse Jackson and like Al Sharpton and those guys that are like, they're very vocal in the news about I don't know, just society and black culture, etc., and rights and stuff, all that stuff. But like, so, you know, before when we were talking about Trayvon, I wanted to ask you if this is the time, if this case is the time to shed light on racism in America.
I think that it's opened the door. I think that it's something that needed to be discussed, and, you know, we're having a lot of open forums.
Right, yeah.
Whether we get things resolved or not, I think, first of all, in order for us to ascend to wherever that we want to ascend to, we first have to learn to love one another, man. You can't have black on black crime. You can't have that. I'm older now. I'm out of that age bracket, but I was more likely to be killed by a black man than I was to be killed by any one of you in this room. You know, so that was scary for a long time. You know, you had to think about, if I was going to be shot, I was going to be shot by a black man. So we have to transcend that, man. We have to get to a point where, you know, we're not killing each other, because in a couple of years there's not going to be too much, you know, except for, like he was saying, the good old boys. There's not going to be too many just straight racists, because we're going to have so much intermingling, because the women are going to be forced to date outside. Black women are going to be forced to date other black women, because the ones that's not in jail are either homosexual. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to have.
You're talking. That's pretty bad. I mean,
it's pretty bad.
That's pretty like bad. Wartime.
It's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad.
So here's the thing. Like I understand. Well, okay. So that's. Wow. That's an even bigger.
If I was to have a son, what do you think his avenues? He is more likely to go to jail or prison if I didn't raise him correctly than he is to go to college. That's what the stats show. Do you know what they base?
Why do you think that is?
Because we don't have fathers in the home.
So what's going to change that? I mean, of course, that's the big answer. If someone could figure that out, they would be the modern, you know, Gandhi or something.
Because everyone's different, you can't have a mindset that works for everybody. It's, generally speaking, you have to have a mindset to say, do I want, like, what am I trying to say? Like, what is my standard of, like, am I doing the best I can, you know, for me and my children? You know what I'm saying?
What's going to push that change, though? Like, what do we need? Do we need another Martin Luther King? Do we need another? That's a good question, man. I sit around. I think about that a lot.
It's almost like, I guess, do you even need somebody, or is that a decision you can make on your own?
See that, you know,
Well, yeah. Go
Thomas Hobbes, he wrote the book Leviathan, and it's a political book back in the 1800s, and it was he wrote about the Leviathan being this one thing that has to control us because we're human. You know, he's a very, very Christian. He believed in original sin and stuff like that. He believed that we had to have someone to lead us because we can't lead ourselves. You know, for the Christians, it's God. And if you apply that same concept to freedom, you know, just for us, you know, we do need someone to guide us because we all have our own views. So if I get up on my soapbox and I get a gathering, someone else gets on their soapbox and gets a gathering, I have something different from what they believe. It's just going to cause more, you know, it's not going to cause cohesion. We're building individual communities instead of building a bigger community that extends to everyone. See, we're always drawing these invisible lines, so we need that one person to come up and say, hey, follow me. You know, this is how I think we should. So he's going to sell you all these ideas and get you on board with whatever it is he wants to get done. You know. Well, yeah, you know, but I'm not talking about like a political figure. We're talking to
but what I'm saying
yeah.
is having somebody to follow to make decisions on your behalf.
Yeah, but if you want that change, someone from one of us has to. But the question is, you know, who? You know, how? You know, so maybe we won't get it, but one day someone will. They're going to stand up, and they're going to be, you know, that one voice that everyone looks to, that face of freedom, and we're going to be the ones backing him up or her up, you know, wherever they are. You know, so we do need that one central figure. Everyone, and it is my opinion, you know, you don't have to believe this. I know some people out there are nihilists or anarchists, you know, but I do believe in some sort of structure. I do believe in some.
Well, so I will say that Obama might not be that man because Victoria she actually looked up this article that I was talking about. She said only 52% of whites and 39% of blacks had favorable opinion of race relations in the country, and it's a drop from when 79% of whites and 63% of blacks had favorable views of race relations when he got elected. So, like that to me, like, there should have been, to me, I thought, now, okay, we got to a point where we elected a black president, we don't have to see things in race anymore. But now it's showing it's actually going backwards. But, like, to me, I have my opinions on it, right? But I want to know, like, what you guys think about that.
What's your opinion?
Well, I'll say that I think there's a double standard emerging, and it's almost a catch-22 to where like, for instance, I don't feel like I'm a racist at all, right? But how can you judge yourself fully, right? I mean, when really society seems to be one of the judges, right? But I'm saying, do I have predispositions? Maybe, you know, because my life experiences have taught me that. You know what I mean? If I see someone that looks a certain way, I might think of a previous experience I've had where I'm like, damn, I remember that, right? I just see some creepy looking white dude with a weird mustache in a windowless van, right? We all have that stereotypical image in our mind, right? It's, you know what I'm saying? But like, if I said I see this dude with saggy pants and he's, you know, got a hoodie on, right? That's bad. I can't have predispositions about that, or else I'm racist. You know what I'm saying?
That's not necessarily true. I think that.
Well, depending, I don't think it's true, but some people in society think it's true, and I think it depends on who. And here's another thing, just one real quick thing. This is what I really wanted to know, is I started thinking, because when I posted something about Trayvon as a response to President Obama's speech about how he could be Trayvon, he could have been Trayvon 35 years ago, and all of this, and I was like, wow, really? So you're telling me that one people experienced all the same thing, and that it's okay to view the world through those experiences. But what if someone else saw the world through different experiences? But you can negate that. That's not okay. And then the other thing that bothers me is when and this is a post that was a response to my post. One of my friends from high school said, look, you know, Zimmerman has to be racist. He said, they always get away. Who's they? Right? And I'm like, whoa, they, I mean, they is a very ambiguous word. How come when he says, or I say, like if I said they, always say this, right? Then I'm the racist they, right? But how come black people can say we? Like who's we if there's no they? See, you know what I'm saying? So one part of society can refer to themselves as existing, and the other side of the society can't refer to that existence of a segregation of a group. You see what I'm saying? Like that to me, I don't understand how because no matter what, in the end, I'm going to end up sounding racist, according to some people, because I think our sensitivities become so heightened because of what? I don't know for sure what's pushing it, but how can you be so sensitive to say, you use the word they, which is, to me, ambiguous, but to them, can I say them? I don't even know, right? To that person, it was very distinct that he had to have meant black people. Right?
It all goes back to what I said earlier, that we were always drawing these invisible boundaries, you know? Why does it always have to be we? Why does it always have to be us against them, you know? There's always these invisible boundaries that we draw, and when we cross them, you know, it's seen as a threat to the other person, you know? So what needs to happen, in my opinion, we need to drop these boundaries. How? I don't know. I mean, it's all on the individual perspective, because like you were saying earlier, what I see is not what you see. What you're seeing is not what I'm seeing, you know?
Drop the boundaries, I might would say, like, just don't talk about, that's like, don't think about the boundaries, like
Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, I don't even know if he said that. It might have been a meme.
Or might have been a meme.
But somebody said, like, how do you stop racism? You just stop talking about it. If we keep bringing attention to how we're different, how the fuck are we gonna see ourselves as, you know?
Because it exists, though. It exists already, though. Right, but go ahead. You even want to say.
I want to interject this. I think the thing with Zimmerman and Trayvon started with the thing that affects most minorities in the United States, except for the Hispanics because they're growing, but it did affect them. You start talking about racial profile. You know, like right now, I'm probably one of the only blacks in this neighborhood. So if the majority of the neighbors now, they probably wouldn't, but if the neighbors saw a black guy walking down the street, they might assume that he's either doing something illegal or wrong. And see, that's the thing. If people didn't know me and I'm walking down this road, I got just as much right as you to be here because I live here. So that's where I think that comes in. When you start singling out a person due to their race and thinking that they're about to do something wrong. And I think that's when Zimmerman referred to they, whoever had been burglarizing or doing the robberies or doing the break-ins, it may have been a coincidence. But as far as speaking out on being black, I mean, if we can't provide for our families, we can't get gainful employment, most people are going to survive, man, sooner or later. So what do you think they're going to be left to do besides rob and steal? Yeah. So I mean, I'm not saying that it's okay. Don't misconstrue and take that I'm saying that I agree with that. But I'm saying the first law of nature is self-preservation. You're going to survive by any means necessary. So you got to incorporate that into I've never been on welfare. I never received welfare. I don't know what it's like. I've always worked all my life. So
I applied for welfare once.
I applied and didn't get it. But I'm saying that what we have to understand is we have to stop. Just like one of the fellow guys here said, we gotta stop looking at all the differences and start seeing the things that we're alike and then go from there. You know, everybody's not going to agree with everything.
And I think the internet's going to fix a lot of this shit, man. This is just a.
I don't know if it will.
I think it will, man. I think give it a couple. I think you guys are thinking on a really short time frame. I'm not thinking 10 years. I'm not thinking 20 years. I'm thinking 100, 200. Yeah, racism is here to stay, at least for our lifetime, I think. But
definitely.
it's a work in progress. Think about this. 300 years ago, I hate to keep going back and thinking 200, 300 years ago. This conversation between these races right here did not fucking happen. White, black, whatever everyone else says. This shit didn't happen. We're progressing. It's just right now we can see the end line. We see the fucking light at the end of the tunnel. We're right here, and we want to get there. At least I feel like the smart intellectual people want to get there, but there's all this bullshit in between that we have to navigate through, and there's no way around that. I don't think it's gonna take us hundreds of years. We're gonna have to work all this shit out. People are gonna start looking the same after a couple hundred years. Will there be a pure white or a pure black race in 500 years? Who the fuck knows? I don't know. Will there be?
Well, so here's my other question though too. So I think my generation, by and large, now there's exceptions. I mean, and as to your point, people's minds will start changing. I'll be honest with you. I know what it's like to have racism in your family, right? So now you're as a family member, you're sort of expected to fall in line.
Yeah.
I mean, when you resist that, you cause a rift. And had to fight that rift many times.
Yeah.
But you break free, and I think more and more people will break free. But what gets me though is, so here I am, and here a lot. I think by and large, a lot of society, white society, we'll just say white society, is trying as much as they can to not be racist. You know what I'm saying? And some of them might have grown up with predispositions that way, and they have to fight that. It's like being, you've grown up in a certain culture, you have to fight that if you don't want to be that anymore. You know what I mean? But how do you fight that when you got people like, and I'll just say it, like Al Sharpton and people like that are polarizing to the point where, yes, the racism does exist. You're right, but you can't blanket it. Just like I can't say, oh, just because there's gangs and thugs exist in the ghetto, that it exists everywhere a black person is. You know what I'm saying? They talk about things with the same blanket that they accuse white people talking about black people walking around. That's bad. That's bad to say that you can't walk in the same neighborhood, to think that someone might think something. But they are perpetuating an idea that white people are going to be racist.
Don't you think that wrong is wrong? So if he's wrong, he's wrong. I mean, what do you want me to say? I mean, if he's using it to blanket everything.
But he's helping to instigate even more.
Didn't I just say we have multifacets that would create this problem? We have black people just as well as white. You can't just have one. It takes two to have an argument. You can't argue with yourself. So
absolutely,
you got Al Sharpton on this side getting the black stirred up, and you got Beck and O'Reilly over here getting the white stirred up. And a lot of these people don't have a clue about what's going on, so they're just going to fall in with the masses and follow whoever. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not intellectual enough to know. Education is key, man. You have to educate yourself about.
There's a lot of them, man, and there's a lot of them. I run into them all the time. I see their Facebook posts all the damn time. Yeah. That's why I put that thing on there.
Well, see, that's why I keep
racist
them on there.
Posts? I'm sorry.
No, just like, well, sometimes I mean, like, you know what I mean, like, or at least prejudice, right? Like where you throw in this, and it's like, come on, but it goes both ways. I think I saw the one thing that actually put me over the edge and made me write this post that I'm gonna be getting rid of friends, is that I met this dude I thought I respected, man. He's a local rap artist, and and he posts a lot of stuff about racial inequality and stuff, and I'm okay, right? I understand he's got his view of the world, you know what I mean? But then he likened Florida, because it had fourth largest black population or something to that effect, to the fourth largest plantation. You know what I mean? And I'm like, come on, man. If you want to really have a real talk about race relations, let's talk about race relations or something. But don't. I mean, for someone to talk about slavery. I mean, slavery. He's never known what it's like to live under slavery, to be an actual slave.
Right.
So how can you even liken something to that? It's almost like bringing up the Holocaust. Like, oh, it's a Holocaust, da da da. Like, what the hell? Dude, the Holocaust is big ass shit. You don't just throw it around like you just like, oh, whatever. You know what I mean? And liken your people's plight to that. I'm like, well, okay, you got to be having a real hard time to liken your shit to the Holocaust. You got to be having a real hard time, like real hard to say it's like slavery to me. I'm like,
right, because
I took that a little bit harsh.
Because we don't know exactly how many people died in the slavery. They said 300 million.
and that exceeded the Holocaust. And then, you know, you think about, you know, the horrible conditions they were in. I don't think that we could ever get to the end of this, or maybe a point where, you know, we'll see an end with this conversation, because this wasn't created overnight, and I don't think it'll be resolved overnight.
No,
you
right.
know, you
It's solve it today, man. Come on. Yeah.
But I, you know, I just laugh because I've been privy to use a porta potty, and one of the writers, I used one like in this wooded area, and
He didn't have that choice. He has to work. He had to work.
right. So one of the jokes was in there. It was like, what do Bigfoot and black men have in common? It said, you've never seen a black man working just like you've never seen Bigfoot. I thought that was hilarious. I thought that was a pretty good one. I wanted to write kudos up there. They were like, what do Bigfoot and a black man working have in common? You never seen them. I thought that was pretty funny. I thought they spent some time coming up with that one, you know. But when you see stuff like that, did it infuriate me? As a person, no. But as a race, I guess it would infuriate you. Because someone looks at you and they don't see a man, they see something else. They see something less than a man. And I think that's the problem. I think that we have to first start addressing each other as human beings first. And then once we address that, then we can go forward with the race thing. You know, like I said, I have more melanin in my skin. That's what makes me different. But my blood is the same, you know, and everything else, all my innards are the same. So, I mean, we got to get past that, man. We got to get past the content of melanin in the skin, and then maybe we can go forward and start resolving a lot of these issues, man.
What you were saying just now kind of reminded me of this passage in the Tao Te Ching. It's the Taoist Bible. And in verse 9, one of the passages, it says, if you care about what other people think about you, you become their prisoner. You know, so I don't, when I do my daily thing, you know, yes, sometimes it does strike my mind that, hey, you know, this person's probably looking at me in a weird way, because most of the time I wear bow ties, you know. So, you know, there's always going to be some sort of snide remark or whatever, you know. And
you wear bow ties?
Yeah,
okay.
I love bow ties.
Keep going.
But, you know,
You
it's...
don't wear capris with the bow tie.
Hell no. I'll take that far.
He looks like he out of an Old Navy commercial.
But you know, I don't want to keep thinking about what that person is thinking about
Round guy number 2.
Because if I think about what their perception of me is, I'm gonna worry about it.
Right.
And when I worry about it, I'm not gonna be doing what I'm supposed to be doing. You know, I'm gonna let these small trivial things get in my way. You know, so I can't. I refuse to live that way. You know, I
Hold on a
don't want
second. Now, Nick Reed over here, he's disappointed, I think, that we aren't going to solve racism tonight.
No, I'm sorry, Nick Reed. We can't.
So here's my other thing. So stuff like I think stuff like what the president said, I don't think that's helping anything.
You don't think that it's helping anything? I think that...
I don't think this is the time. I think you're right. We need to talk about this. And it did open the pathway, but not related to this case. This case doesn't have enough. I don't think. You know, is it not enough that, you know, if you found KKK memorabilia all over his closets, and I mean the dude's like Latino. He's just as much white as Obama is white.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But now suddenly he's white. You know, now it's a race thing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he was profiling. Yeah, he did a bunch of stupid things, and he's not, you know, all that whatever. I'm not saying he's right. I'm just saying, come on, this is the wrong one. This is the wrong time to talk about this. We should talk. No, it's not the wrong time. We should talk about it whenever. But to try to tie it back and keep tying it back and tying it back,
Yeah.
I think that is going to divide people, because it's
I
almost like,
think that the media has created
yes,
this monster.
absolutely.
And I think, like you're saying, we don't. A lot of people don't know the facts of the case, and they don't understand how it
Those
works.
are people all around us, man. They're the people like I know, the people I work with, the people that are on my Facebook. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And I just, like you're saying, I think that we open up the dialogue. That's good. I mean, the dialogue, that's excellent. But I like you're saying, we can't tie this all into Trayvon, because racism was exhibited way before he was born.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And so
Right.
we can't just limit to this. But like I said, you know, some people see an opportune time to I guess get in a position of leadership and try and expand on this, like the Al Sharptons of the world. You know, they're gonna take this ball and make this little pebble into a big rock. So you know, he's gonna take it and expand on it as long as he has followers and feed. I think that, you know, when they deal with the stats, there's been proven that more people have been acquitted of shooting black people than they have been of shooting white people. That's a fact. I think the Tampa Tribune did a report recently. It was like 73% that shot white people that shot black people got off, and they even had some cases where they were talking about standing ground where they shot the dog and stuff like this. So they did a real good investigation. So we've all identified that there is a problem with race. So like you're saying, what measures are we going to take to correct it? Me being a black person, a black man that has been on this earth for a while, I'm saying that
sorry ladies, it's still a mystery.
We have to do our part. You know, we have to make it where we don't look like thieves, right? We don't look like criminals. I mean, what is the point? I mean, you gotta start growing up. You gotta find your niche in this world. And I'm not saying you can't be your own thing and do your own thing. That course comes too. But I think most of all, you gotta have self-respect for yourself and for your race. I mean,
that's real, man.
Going out there and having kids and not raising them, man. I don't care what race you are. That's wrong, man. You gotta raise your kids, man. If you're gonna be a father, be a father. I mean, don't go out there and make babies and then leave the woman there to suffer.
Maturity is the act of being able to like think into decisions. How will this affect me later? You know, not just you know, children. And as you grow up, you get better at that. How does this, or at least you should get better at that. How does this affect me down the road? You know, as a child, oh my God, ice cream and candy, ice cream and candy, ice cream and candy. I don't give a fuck that my cavities are coming in. Ice cream and damn candy. But you know, when you get older and you know, maybe like, I don't know, 20 or something, you're like, ice cream and candy. Okay, I want to keep these teeth, you know, for a good long time. You know, that's just an example. But you know, it's God. I just lost what I was talking about. Why did I get off?
I don't know. All I heard was ice cream and candy.
Yeah, kids. That was kids.
All right. Well, on that note, it's 10:30 Eastern time, and honestly, I got some other things to do, so that don't include y'all. I'm sorry, but I will leave you with one Eskimo, Astronaut. It's a good song. I've been digging. So keep that, and thanks for joining us.
Later.
Did it actually record?
Float like a baby, trying to escape this, covered in tar. But every recording you keep distorting like an astronaut. It's a funny old world, full of headaches in turn. So whenever you need space, I guess it's okay. When you're floating away, to feel nothing at all. We could be astronauts if you want to. Get out of here. Safety somewhere on Mars. But if I'm mistaken, your body's in England, but your head's in the stars. It's a funny old world, full of headaches in turn. So whenever you need space, I guess it's okay. When you floated away to feel nothing at all. We can be astronauts if you want to. Get out of here. Can get out of here. We can get out of here. Can be astronauts. Can be astronauts. It's a funny old world, full of headaches in turn. So whenever you need space, I guess it's okay. When you're floating away to feel nothing at all. We can be astronauts if you want to. Get out of here. Can get out of here. Can get out of here. Can be astronauts. Can be
Well, I think that to be some